The breaching charge blew. Metal shrieked as the bottom of the ventilation shaft vanished, hurling the extraction team and the rescued child out into the freezing void of space. A microsecond later, Xylari plasma fire incinerated the shaft walls right where they had just stood. 72 hours ago, Maya's biggest problem was the bitter synthetic coffee pooling inside a chipped black mug with a faded defense logo. Now they were dodging extinction. Grid 404 belonged to the Xylar hegemony. It was a restricted grid, but Captain Silas Thorne had just parked the Starbreaker Prime dead center of it. Maya gripped her tactical console, watching the readouts. Humanity had been quiet for 20 years. Today they arrived to show the galaxy what that silence actually meant. Solari defensive scrambles lit the map. Thorne didn't flinch. He broadcast an unencrypted ultimatum across all channels. 5 words: return the prisoners or burn. The hegemony stalled. Thorne gave the signal. Maya watched the telemetry as hidden shadow cruisers dropped their cloaking. 2 hegemony destroyers vanished, erased. The void simply swallowed them without a trace. The resulting panic unmasked the hegemony's secret. Obsidian Site 9, a black site carved into a shielded asteroid. The extraction hit hard and fast. Maya, Thorne, and the strike team breached the rock's exterior, bypassing external sensors before unleashing a localized EMP barrage. The perimeter died in a shower of sparks. They tore through the lower levels. Kinetic ground shredded Xylari guards before they could raise their weapons. Inside the holding block, they ripped the reinforced doors off their tracks. They found Dr. Julian Cross and Lyra, a 12-year-old girl, a prototype of forced human evolution. Maya watched the child step over a bleeding guard without breaking stride. Her face was an absolute blank slate. Then the facility shrieked. Alarms triggered. It became a running gunfight. Automated turrets sprayed the corridors with lethal heat. Vance took point, his armor taking heavy hits, while Thorne covered the rear. Hegemony troopers flooded the choke points, desperate for containment. The strike team was boxed into an access junction directly over a ventilation shaft. No way up, no way out. Maya slammed the explosive puck into the floor grate. Maya's hand twisted the detonator. The vacuum ripped them downward into the freezing black plasma heat, scorching the soles of Maya's boots as the shaft vanished above them. Then came the brutal deceleration. The Starbreaker Prime's magnetic tethers caught them mid-fall, slamming the strike team onto the cold steel of the drop bay deck. They were aboard. They were alive. But the survival was short-lived. Proximity alarms screamed across the bridge as Maya scrambled to her console. Massive slipspace ruptures tore open the grid. General Elena Rostova arrived with a heavily armed Sol Vanguard containment fleet. Hundreds of targeting lasers painted the Starbreaker in angry red light. "Surrender the girl," Rostova's voice echoed over the comms, cold and absolute, "or face immediate extinction." Doran gripped his rifle, squaring his shoulders to fight a war they couldn't win. Maya tracked the Vanguard's weapons powering up, but Lyra didn't hide. Maya watched the 12-year-old step smoothly past the armed crew toward the Central Command Core. They built a cage to study human evolution, Maya realized, never realizing they were just giving the apex predator a place to adapt. Lyra placed her bare palm flat against the glowing interface. Every light on the Starbreaker died. The power grid completely shut down. Maya held her breath in the absolute dark. Then the ship rebooted, not under Thorne's command, but under Lyra's direct neural control. A silent, terrifying override. Maya snapped her gaze to the viewport. Out in the void, the heavily armed Sol Vanguard fleet was dying. Weapons powered down, shields collapsed, engines went cold. Lyra disabled the entire Armada without firing a single shot. They sent an entire fleet to stop one ship, only to realize the ship wasn't the weapon. "I'm going to build something better," Lyra said. She turned her back on the drifting, powerless fleet and walked calmly toward the engineering core. The Starbreaker Prime banked sharply, firing its thrusters and altering its trajectory to leave both the hegemony and the Vanguard behind in the deep dark. A 5-word broadcast had stopped an empire, but a single child had just rewritten the rules of the universe. Maya stood quietly at her station, staring out at the stranded warships. her trembling fingers wrapped around her chipped black mug, her thumb slowly tracing the faded defense logo that was already beginning to flake away.